Welcome back. Today we're at Cristo Rey Dallas, and we're going to be talking to their administrative team about their corporate work study program.
Welcome to At the Forefront, where we explore the groundbreaking innovations and developments shaping the future of aging. We're hitting the road to showcase how older adults are embracing change, staying active, and thriving in their golden years. Here's your host, CEO of Forefront Living, Tim Mallett.
Today we're going to be speaking to Dr. Patrick Walsh, President of Cristo Rey in Dallas, Anthony Valenti, Vice President of Corporate Work Study, and Laura White, Senior Account Manager. Welcome to At the Forefront.
Thank you.
So we'll just jump right into the questions. Really a two-part question, and maybe I'll start with you, Dr. Walsh. When and why was Cristo Rey founded in Dallas?
Doors opened in 2015. We're co-located with the St. Augustine Church and Parish. You'll see that there was an elementary school, St. Augustine Elementary School, that closed, consolidated, and moved up to Military Highway with St. Philip St. Augustine today. We repurposed those buildings for high school. We still use those classrooms today. But in the Cristo Rey model, prior to doors opening, there's a feasibility study that typically takes about 2 years. And in the course of that feasibility study, we examine whether or not the community is going to support it with their students, and then whether the business community will support it with jobs. It's a unique model. It's a hybrid model. It's now one replicated in 41 different locations around the country.
Talk to us about the work study, I would say partnerships, if that's the right term. How important are they, and how do they work?
So they are extremely important, as that is the foundation for any Cristo Rey school. So right now, Cristo Rey Dallas works with over 131 different for-profit and nonprofit job partners. Every one of our students has to participate in the corporate work study program, as that is the major factor for them to help contribute to their overall collegiate prep education.
What makes that really interesting is that they're generating revenue that offsets the cost of tuition.
That was my follow-up question. So that's...
Well, why don't we do that?
That's wonderful. And how many organizations are you working with right now?
In terms of job partners?
Correct.
Well, 131, and Anthony has got pipeline here for additional job partners because we have so much demand for students to enroll here. So right now, we opened the doors this last fall semester with 495 students, 70 on a wait list. We just interviewed 240 to come into the entry class. So we're at capacity, and there's no end in sight in terms of the intellectual wealth that's in this community that wants to be part of a college prep program and to build a resume on their way to college.
So Laura, tell us a little bit about your position and what you do.
Yeah, so as the Senior Account Manager here at Cristo Rey, my role is to make sure that all of my job partners feel equipped and supported to take care of their internships that they have on site, as well as support the students that work at those internships. So I help with supervisor orientations. I do site visits every year with all of my job partners to actually go on site, see what the students are doing. I'm able to answer any supervisor questions and provide support from there. Sometimes if students need additional support, I'll actually work with them for half a day to make sure that they understand all the aspects of their job. And then I also can give student feedback as well after the job partner gives feedback. Sometimes the students need a little extra push, and so I'm able to help with some of those conversations and keeping motivation for the students high.
It's wonderful. And I know there's something called draft day here, and I think that's common, which I didn't realize, among the other Cristo Rey campuses. Can you tell us a little bit about that day and what it's like and the meaning of it?
Yeah, so draft day, I would argue, at least for me, is one of my favorite events that we do on campus. That is a chance similar to the NFL or the NBA draft, where our students get drafted to their job partners. It is a raucous affair. It's an all hands on deck. The students get called up on stage with a job partner. Job partners bring out hard hats or jerseys and essentially draft the student to come to work for them as a job partner. Again, it's my personally favorite event, and I know everyone on campus really loves doing that event as well.
So we have faculty and staff that smack talk on a panel. And so Manny may think that he's on his way to AT&T, but watch Southwest Airlines. They're going to make a move on Manny. And Southwest Airlines is up on stage with a pencil and a ball cap Manny's parents are in the audience. It's a very emotional event because Manny has now been accepted into a big business, and mom and dad are there with siblings to enjoy it.
How do you pair a student with an organization?
That's a great question. We are looking at our job partners and our students throughout the entire year. So we are building profiles about our job partners, what type of work that they're doing, what industries of work that they're in, what kind of skill sets are required in order for a student to be successful at that internship. And then same with the students, we're analyzing their skill sets, sometimes how they're doing at their current job and what their interests are as well. And so we use all of that information to create matches between the job partners and the students at the end of the year. So the internship runs for a full year, and at the end of the year, the job partner is able to say whether or not they want the student to come back. And the student also has a say and is able to say whether or not they want to go back. So if they both say yes, then they're paired again for the next year. And if either party says no, then the student and job partner will get matched to a different student.
What I like about what Laura does, think of it as quality assurance. So this is all putting the value proposition on the table and ensuring that we're delivering value to the people we work with. And in a reciprocal sort of agreement, these are leaders in the business community that now work with our students and offer examples as mentor-protege kinds of relationships that are extraordinary.
Well, I would ask how you recruit, your job partners. Dr. Walsh, you recruited us. We know each other in a different capacity, and I would say that as a job partner, maybe I was a little reluctant, didn't understand the benefits, but you felt that it would be a very good pairing, and it has turned out to be even better than the two of us discussed. How do you find job partners and encourage them to join?
Just a little bit of background before I answer directly. When this idea first started in Chicago, South Side Chicago in the late 90s, Father Foley, the Jesuit priest that created this network of schools, came up with the idea of generating revenue. And he was very concerned. The first day, the 14-year-olds went out into the workplace expecting to get a phone call from CEOs saying, "Are you out of your mind?" Well, he got the call, but it was, "Can you bring more students?" What we find is that once people sort of understand how this works, that we work inside the framework provided by the Department of Labor, we're subject to their audits, that we have certain sort of work restrictions and rules in terms of the environment they can work in. Once supervisors are aware that this is not charity, this is actual work that we're asking to accomplish on their behalf, then there's all kinds of work when we recognize the intellectual wealth that's in the room.
And we are fortunate that we have a phenomenal board of directors, a phenomenal jobs committee that help us go out and secure these additional job partners. We're also fortunate enough when a supervisor at one job partner changes jobs to another organization, and they always reach out and say, "Hey, I worked with Cristo Rey schools in the past. The students are phenomenal. The school's great. We need to get involved in that." So we work on gathering job partners from a variety of different areas.
We take the Dallas Book of Lists coming out of the Dallas Business Journal, and we'll go down that, and we'll look for connections in terms of who we can talk to kind of share our story and offer what we can provide for them.
Can you share some feedback that you've received? I think both from your students, of course, first, and then the people that they're working with.
Absolutely. From the job partner perspective, they become members of the team. They are amazed that when a 14, 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old student goes into the workforce, that they are contributing in a meaningful way to a team's success within the organization, but also for the organization's success. They're shocked that our students can do reconciliation if they're working in accounting. They are helping them translate different things into marketing and helping create marketing flyers using Canva. They're operating within CRMs of Salesforce, a variety of others, that they're just so impressed that a high school student is doing the work of essentially a college level graduate. And I'm fortunate where when we hear those success stories, I get amazed every day. I remember when I was in high school, I was not doing that. I don't know if I even could do that when I was in high school. But again, these students truly do, at least for me, amaze me every day.
Can you imagine the conversations our students are going to have when they're freshmen in college? And they're going to look back and share their experience working at Forefront Living or working at Parkland Hospital, and to be able to share those stories as a 19-year-old. It's one of the reasons why our students graduate from college early, is they've learned how to manage their time.
Yeah,
To add, I think the supervisors also really benefit from the partnership as well. I can think of 2 supervisors off the top of my head that have received promotions within their own work for the work that they've done with Cristo Rey students as well. So oftentimes a manager will give their employee an opportunity to supervise, maybe not another employee in their organization, but the Cristo Rey students, and being able for that supervisor to get hands-on management experience allows them to progress through their own organization. In addition, I think the students, the feedback that I receive for them is they're just incredibly grateful. They're grateful to have an idea about the corporate world to help hone in their interests and what they like and maybe really don't like doing. Often our students roll out accounting first. In addition, they build great relationships with their supervisors that in the future they're able to go back to, and if they don't work for that organization directly, they'll network with their supervisors, and their supervisors will help advocate for them to get a job.
Well, the students work, I know, 1 day a week, and it's a full day, and they commute as well. I was struck on my way here that Dallas is a city that has a lot of traffic. So they experience rush hour on both sides, which makes for a long day. How do they balance what's going on in the classroom with what's happening in the workplace? Because they're essentially out of the classroom an entire day.
Think about it, a college prep program in a school that's nationally recognized for the number of advanced placement courses, all done in 4 days instead of 5. So when they come back from Forefront Living Foundation, they'll be either in clubs or they may be in sports, and their day continues. And then they have to go home and do homework and get ready for the rest of the week.
I see you both smiling. You made eye contact with the teacher, so you're going to get called on.
It's incredible to think that high school students are essentially, compared to other collegiate prep and public schools that are going to school 5 days a week, our students are doing all of that within 4 days a week because they are working 1 day a week. Some of their days are starting at 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning by the time they get up, get dressed, possibly take care of a sibling, come to school, go through the check-in process, go to work or go to school, then they're doing clubs and they're doing it over again and over again for 5 days a week. That's a heavy lift, and they excel at it.
So go ahead.
In addition to clubs, I also think it's important to acknowledge that a lot of our students also have jobs outside of their corporate work study placement and their school and club work as well. So really our students are incredibly motivated. They really take on the ownership for the work that they do at the school, partly because they're earning that through their corporate work study program, so it keeps them motivated because at the end of the day, it's them who is paying most of their tuition to be there by the work that they're doing for the corporate work study program. Our students, I know they take ownership for their work, they reach out, they're very communicative, and it's incredible to see the work that they do, both in the classroom and with their work partners.
Statistically, how many of your students go on to college after this experience?
All of our students, senior class, were accepted to colleges and universities in February. On average, they're receiving 8 or 9 different acceptance letters, so they have choices. So this is second year in a row where everybody had an acceptance letter in February. So for the parents in the audience, they know to have a question answered.
Parents' dream.
Yeah, it is.
How many of the students then go on to work for the companies that they've had their work experience with?
Yeah.
There's a fairly good amount of students that go off to work within those companies. One example is America Rodriguez, who serves on our board. She was in our first graduating class, interned at Southwest Airlines, worked at Southwest Airlines as a summer job when she was in college, and then got hired by Southwest Airlines as well. And on average, about 64% of students will end up studying a major in college that directly related to their corporate work study experience.
And it may not be obvious, but as our students matriculate through college, come back into the area as engineers, where their salaries are now close to $100,000 a year in their first and second year out of college, they will not qualify to send their own kids to our school because they make too much money.
And that's a success story.
That's an
for
amazing
sure.
transformation story.
How many of the students stay in our community, and in this case, Dallas?
They're drawn to come back to the community. I don't have the demographic breakdown.
I don't have that part either, but a good part of them will stay within this area of Dallas.
As we near the end of this segment, share a success story.
A full ride to Johns Hopkins pre-med from someone who was our valedictorian who didn't want to go to the school.
Wow.
Yeah, that's not charity. That's someone that really earned it. Took 10 advanced placement courses and was told by her mother, you're going to this school, even though all her friends were going to a different school.
Wonderful.
I would say 2 sisters that interned at Goldman Sachs were accepted to the Cox School of Business on the full ride.
Oh, that's fantastic. Fantastic. And how do those stories impact the other students?
I think it's incredibly motivating.
Yeah.
The class of 2024 was the first class to get 100% acceptances to the 4-year universities and colleges. The thing about the class of 2025 that I really love is they're incredibly competitive, and they saw that and they said, we're going to do it better.
Yeah.
And they have just blown us out of the water with the amount of full rides that we've seen in this class, them also receiving the 100% acceptances to 4-year colleges and universities. And so the classes beneath are looking up to the seniors, and they're seeing what they can do, and they see that this model works, and they want that for them.
Yeah, please come to graduation.
Absolutely.
Saturday, May 31st in the afternoon down at the Meyerson.
Wonderful. I want to thank you all, first for what you're doing for our community and for being part of this fantastic organization. And thank you for joining us at the forefront.